Welcome, Kalvin. It's so lovely to see you.
So good
Um,
to be here.
yeah, I'm very excited because you're telling us a little bit about a workshop that you're going to be doing with us on October the 10th
Yeah,
at the Trust.
yeah.
And it's called Sex, a Human Experience.
Mhm.
Now, I believe the idea came from the World Cafe last year.
Yes.
And of course, we're going to be running another World Cafe event on the 18th of July this year. But can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you last year to run this event?
Yeah, of course. Um, the World Cafe Day last year was such an experience. What I loved about it was I'd say it was like 80% psychosynthesis community, maybe 75%, and 25% people who were just there to be curious about themselves. Um, And what I loved about it, it was so many different generations of psychosynthesis people. It was almost like a school reunion or something, even though we didn't all know each other. And the learning from being in this community, the mix of people, and as well the other people who maybe weren't from psychosynthesis was profound. And I'm not sure if people who are watching have experienced a World Cafe event before. I actually hadn't. Um, I would say it's like speed dating in a way. There's lots of different tables, which they put them throughout the trust. So everybody had their own private room. And participants will pick, three or four topics from the list, and they will go around that day and have the conversations and the learning with the person holding the table and the rest of the participants who are sat around the table. And I don't think it was called Sex a Human Experience, but I think it was around, I can't remember the exact title, but it was around sex and in a psychosynthesis perspective. And what I really experienced on that table from bringing that conversation was how people who are therapists or counselors, so people on that side of the sofa, and the people who aren't therapists and counselors, so on the other side, there was a commonality between what they were both bringing to the table, and that was how sex and sexuality is often last on the list, or it's often forgotten about. So, when we're looking at ourselves, we've got work to do, we've got friends to see, we've got kitchens to clean, we've got stuff to do. Sex just falls to the last on the list. What I was experiencing from speaking to the therapists and counselors on my table as well was sex is often the last thing that they will bring into the room as well for a number of reasons. Sometimes um, they're looking at the person as a whole and they're just not thinking about sex. They're just not thinking about it. The other thing is that perhaps there's anxiety or fear around bringing sex into the room. And of course, if a client isn't bringing, a sex-based issue into the room, of course, you're not going to lead with that. That would be highly inappropriate. And of course, you need to build a relationship with the client. But once you've got that relationship, sex should not be off the table. Absolutely. And from that table, I just saw. Do you know what? I'll be honest. I was a little bit frazzled before we did this interview, and Kim did this beautiful breathing technique with me, and she said, "Oh, I just saw your shoulders go down," and that's what I saw doing the World Cafe table when people were able to actually talk about their sexuality, their sex life, the sex subpersonality, and actually be like, oh, everybody experiences this. I can finally voice this. Everybody's shoulders were coming down, and honestly, I was blown away by the reaction from the whole experience.
Conversations that you had that the idea of this workshop was born. And what are you going to do on the day? Can you give us some idea, not the whole story, but some idea of what people will experience coming to your CPD?
So it's really looking at your sexual self. And most of us have never been helped to meet it. And,
Mm,
you know, this workshop offers a gentle inquiry into meeting and allowing your sexual self to have a voice, because often it's something that we just keep in here. It's something that we are anxious to maybe say out loud. And I guess it's exploring how shame, secrecy, social messaging shape
mm,
our relationship with sex, and I guess how the sexual self can become split off from your identity. Some people have a split between love and sex. And I guess what I'm offering is a contained and reflective space to meet your sexual self and to look at sex as a human experience, um, and the importance of it. Because I think through my clinical work, what I see is when that part is either ignored or if it's neglected, it's not going to go away. It will come
mm.
up. We can push it down as much as we want, but it's going to come up.
It's a relief to hear you talk about shame in as part of this. So I imagine that somehow through the conversation and the experience, becoming more familiar with ourselves and our own sexuality,
Mhm.
it can help us as therapists to be present in the room.
Absolutely. And, you know, as I was saying earlier, it's often deprioritized or felt like, oh, it's not important, it's only sex. And, you know, this is my belief that, you know, our relationship with sex, our relationship with others, um, either emotionally or romantically, is really how we operate and view the world. I kind of talk about if we think of ourselves as the sun, and we have all the different parts of us are the planets in the solar system, okay? And they're all orbiting the sun. If just one of those planets goes off kilter, that's going to have an effect on every other planet's orbit. They're not going to be in sync. They're not going to be
Mhm,
working together. And one of those planets is your sexual self.
mhm,
And if you're
mhm,
holding something about that, if there's an experience you're not getting fulfilled, if you're holding shame, if society's telling you that part of you is wrong, that's going to have an effect on every other part of your life.
mhm,
So let's bring that, let's give that part a voice. I hope
mhm.
that makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I'm struck by with your analogy is, and of course, you're talking symbolically, but what I'm struck by your analogy is that in a couple of days, all of the planets literally line up. They're in sync. So it feels like a good time to be aligning all of ourselves.
Mm.
I think it promises to be really enriching. My experience of, obviously I wasn't in your workshop, I was supporting the whole, but my experience of people that came out of your workshop is that they were inspired. And so that's why I think this is exciting that you're doing the CPD, is you offer a fresh voice, a fresh lens, a fresh opportunity to get to grips with what can be one of the most sacred parts of our lives.
Yes. And being in a room together with
Mm.
other like-minded people looking at this a particular topic, it it's so inspiring. You know, I work as a psychosynthesis GSRD therapist, so gender, sexuality, relationship diversities, but I rarely have the opportunity to be in a room of people together
Mm. Mm.
expressing this and talking about this. And I think most people don't get to experience that. We often, when we're talking about sex, I would say it falls into two categories. Um, s- Sensational. Oh my God, I had this crazy sexual experience, or we laugh at it, we find it funny, that we deal with it in a comical lens, or it falls into a negative lens where people will either be complaining about maybe I'm not getting enough sex or I had a really bad sexual experience, or through media where we're being told you can't be this way, this is bad.
Mm.
And this space takes the comedy approach out, and it takes that real darkness out. It just gives us that neutral space where we can look
Mm.
at the light and the shadow, but in a neutral way. Let's talk about this in a neutral way. It doesn't have to be sensational in the positive or the negative.
And I guess, I'm going back to shame again. I guess, shaming people around whether they have too much or too little sex is very much part of a social norm. So this promises to be an opportunity to take charge of your sexual self in a different way.
Yeah, I love that. To take charge gives you the opportunity to own it for
Mm.
really for what it is. And I think what's important as well to say is, and I this happened in World Cafe, I really stress this as well. Often when we're seeing workshops or things around sex and sexuality, um, it can be assumed it's LGBTQIA plus, that it's around
Mhm.
that experience. This is the whole experience. I'm an LGBT person, but this is not, we're not looking just at that. We're looking at every aspect. So when we're talking about the sexual self, I'm not talking about if you're same-sex attracted or anything around that. It's what is your sexual self? How do you
Mhm.
want to express that? If you're a straight woman, if you're a straight man, if you're a bisexual person, if you're gay, it doesn't matter. This is for everyone. Everybody experiences that. And I think it's really important for me um, to bring that in.
Yeah, so to stress it's open for however you identify,
Absolutely.
whether you heterosexual or, as you said, whatever your preference.
Yeah, because what I found in clinical work is, a lot of heterosexual people who come to see me are feeling very pinned in by a very specific idea of how their life should be. So, having to feel like they're living a heteronormative lifestyle. And I work with heterosexual people on opening up their relationship so they can experience other sexual partners. I work with straight women who just want to find a voice to be able to voice their sexual needs without feeling shame, that to voice that, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Good. So it sounds like a real opportunity for folk. And of course, there will be a bit more that's written down alongside this event video. Um, but brilliant. So it's the 18th of July, um, and sounds exciting.
10th of October.
Sorry, 18th of July is the next World Cafe. 10th of October. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so World Cafe 18th of July and the Sex a Human Experience CPD 10th of October. Absolutely.
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you, Calvin.
Thank you.